Hello, I want to welcome everybody, even if you're not on right now and you're watching this on the tape version. I am here, I'm Dawn Fimler, I'm here with Julie Powers and Cindy Sebastian, and we are part of the Healthy Living Revolution. And I think most of you know that we are part of the Juice Plus company, and the Healthy Living Revolution is just an educational arm of that. While the Juice Plus company, we just want you to know it's not just about selling products that can be very, very helpful to people's health. We also want to educate people because we want everyone to be as healthy and happy as possible. So as promised, we're going to show you how to make some delicious and nutritious treats. And these are better. A lot of people make Christmas cookies this time of the year, but this is much better and a lot healthier for you to have them. You know, you can have them in your freezer and just pull them out when you need them. I know a lot of people aren't going to parties and things, or may not be going, having big gatherings, but you can just have a sweet treat yourself if you don't have anybody around, and you don't have to feel guilty about it. So you just sit back and watch. You can decide what you want to make later. And the grocery list, we posted that in the Facebook event earlier this week, and the actual recipes will be posted after this event is posted. So I'm just going to start by just telling you why I started doing this. About 7 years ago, my husband was diagnosed with high blood pressure. He's not overweight. He doesn't have the normal body type of what you would think of someone with high blood pressure. He exercises regularly, eats fairly well, we thought, but he does have a family history of heart disease. And he was put on a couple of medicines, did not like the side effects of those medicines. And I was looking to help him, and had read in a prevention magazine that celery is used in Asia as a blood pressure reducer. So he started eating a couple stalks of celery every single day, treating it like his medicine. And in 6 to 8 weeks, he was taking off all of his blood pressure medicine because his blood pressure was so low. And that really was a light bulb moment for me, that I realized the power of food and that food really is medicine. And I started searching, and I found this group, and I found the Juice Plus products, and it really fit into what I was looking for because it was just food. And it was really the catalyst. A lot of people start on Juice Plus products, and that's all they do. That's all the changes they make, and that's awesome. But you know, later, then they may be a catalyst for making some changes in their diet. I was a little odd. I was just ready. I was all in. I started Juice Plus. I started what is called a shred program, and it became a catalyst for changing everything about the way we eat in our house, and it stayed for 7 years. So I did have a very, very bad sweet tooth before all of these changes, and this is something nice that I can, you know, still satisfy that, but not feel like I'm hurting my body. I'm actually helping my body. So I'm going to start with, I've already made mine, but I'm going to show you I'm going to go through the recipe, and then this first one anyway. This first one I'm making is called Poppy Seed Lemon Drops. And it has 1 1/4 cups raw cashews, and I'm very happy. I told Julie just a few weeks ago, you can now get these at Walmart. You didn't used to be able to, and we live in a fairly rural area. I know, Lauren, you probably have a lot more options, but it's nice that we don't have to run to Trader Joe's up in St. Louis to get these. So they do have them now. Cashew butter, 1/4 cup of cashew butter. Quite honestly, I mean, cashew butter is a lot more expensive than peanut butter or even almond butter. It does have a smoother taste to it, but you could sub peanut butter or almond butter. Just make sure you get the all natural with just nuts, maybe salt, not added sugar. Pure maple syrup, that's the sweetener in this. And you know, it doesn't have the sugar, but this is the sweetener. And I explain to people, you know, sugar doesn't have any nutritional benefits except for some calories. Pure maple syrup has really high antioxidants. It has a low glycemic index, so it won't spike your blood sugar as much. It has been shown to lower inflammation and helps with your digestion. It does have a lot of vitamins and minerals, so it's a better option than just regular sugar. You're going to use a small lemon and you're going to zest it. If you don't have one of these little zesters, they're really nice. You just go like this and it takes the peel off. Lemon peels are so good for you. They're antibacterial, they're antifungal, they help your immune system, your heart, they are high in fiber, they can lower your cholesterol, studies have shown. They even help people that have gallstones, and they have been shown in studies to have an anti-cancer component to them, so that's wonderful. And guess what? Lemon peels are in this right here, and I get it every single day because I'm not necessarily going to have lemon peels on a daily basis, but they are on this recipe. Poppy seeds. It has 1.5 teaspoons of poppy seeds. Poppy seeds are also very, very good for you. Just 1 teaspoon has 4% of your calcium and your phosphorus and your iron and about 3% of your zinc for your daily allowance. So I'm always low on iron, so these are good for me. And then a serving of the Juice Plus Vanilla Complete shake mix. And, you know, just by adding this, you're adding a whole bunch of very, very healthy whole foods. You've got broccoli sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, radish sprouts, amaranth, quinoa, millet, pumpkin powder, pomegranate powder, yucca powder, mushroom powder, on and on and on. Very good for you. You add a scoop, very easy. It does have a little bit of organic sugar in it, and it's very low glycemic though, because it's very high in protein. And it's a pure protein. It's a vegan protein. A lot of powdered mixes like this are on the market are whey-based protein. And just so you know, whey is not very healthy for you. And if you're vegan, obviously you don't want that. And are you vegan, Lauren? I think you are. Are you still?
I was for a couple years, but now not completely.
Okay. But, you know, dairy can be inflammatory for a lot of people, even if you're, even if you don't have a lot of issues, it's still, and if you're not lactose intolerant, I should say, you can still get a lot of inflammation from dairy products. So this is nice. Whey protein, when they had whey from the making of cheese, like that's what's left over from cheese making. And they used to just throw whey away. That sounds way away. And they realized, oh, we could stick it in a protein powder and sell it. Well, it's really highly processed and it's inflammatory to the gut. So not really a great way to get your protein. This is an all natural washed pea powder and some other things, but and soy, water washed soy, which a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know about soy. I've heard some bad things about soy. Really look at the research on good soy. It's absolutely the opposite of what you think. Really good soy like this, and in places like Asia where they use a lot of soy, it's very good, and it does not interrupt with your estrogen or cause breast cancer. It does the actual opposite if you get a really good high quality of that. So that's going to be in either chocolate or vanilla is going to be in all these recipes that we do today. So you just throw all of that in a really good food processor. You can make it, I made mine pretty powdery. You can make it chunkier if you like. And then you just take, these are pretty sticky. And so I didn't really want to make a mess. I really like using this just little, you know, cookie dough maker. And I just scooped them up. And I went ahead and put them in the refrigerator, and then after they set up a little bit, then I rolled them in my hands and made them nice and round. Or you could just you could make all the dough and put it in the refrigerator for a while and then do it. That would be my recommendation. But with the power of technology, here we go. Here they are. That's what they look like. They're a little bit stickier, like I said, than some of the ball recipes that I make, but keep them in the freezer or refrigerator, and they're great. And I used to make a recipe that wasn't near as healthy. It was lemon poppy seed bread. I loved it back in the day. This really does taste like lemon poppy seed bread. So there you go. That's my recipe. And I'm going to turn it over to, is it Cindy?
Yep. All right. Well, thank you. My name is Cindy Sebastian, and I am a part of the Healthy Living Revolution. I've actually been a part of it for 20 years. Before these girls ever heard about it, I was living in St. Louis. I was a single mom of 3 young boys, my oldest son having cystic fibrosis, and we just were not eating healthy at all. We were eating fast food nearly every day, and it was really just the one simple change that I made by adding Juice Plus to my diet. Didn't even really add the complete mix till later on down the road. It was a different product back then. It was a little bit on the gritty side. It is really amazing now. I love it, love it, love it. So my first recipe is going to be very, very simple. I'm going to actually make it while you're watching, but I did do all my blending and my pulverizing and my food processor because of the noise. So I've already measured out my peanut butter. So my recipe calls for a cup of peanut butter, and I use 2 because I'm doubling it up. It also calls for a cup of rolled oats, and I used this kind from Trader Joe's. It's gluten-free, but you can certainly use just any rolled oats like Quaker oats. That's fine. Go to Aldi's, whatever. So, but I like to grind mine up because they're a little bit finer. They're not as chunky. So I put them in the food processor. So I'm going to dump that in there. And I'm going to kind of get that mixed up a little bit. And then I am going to add honey. So I'm going to add a half a cup of honey, but normally it would be a 1/4 of a cup for this recipe. But this particular ball recipe is pretty compact. It doesn't make as many as some, so I wanted to double this one up. So this is Thin Mints, if I didn't mention it before. So, you know, everybody knows what the Girl Scout cookies are, like the Thin Mints. And this is a Thin Mint recipe, and it's much more healthy. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 packets of the Juice Plus Complete Chocolate because I am doubling it up. And this one doesn't have a lot of different ingredients. I'm going to mix this up before adding my last 2 ingredients. So my last 2 ingredients are going to be peppermint extract and also some dairy-free chocolate chips. So let's give it that really good chocolate chip flavor. So let me make sure I didn't forget anything. So I'm going to mix this up really, really good. And you know, a lot of times when you're making these ball recipes, you know, depending on what kind of peanut butter you used, I use the Smucker's with the oil. You know, we like to use the one with no added sugar, but it's always a good idea to just kind of, as you work it, you know, I like to get in there with my hands once I mix it up. But, you know, if it doesn't seem like it's got enough liquid, you can certainly get in there and add a little bit more of honey to sweeten it, depending on if it needs a little sweet. And I'm going to order a teaspoon because I'm doubling this up. Let's see, no wait. Yeah, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of peppermint extract. So it's really got a pepperminty taste. And another thing that you can do before you make your balls, I mean, I like to make mine. I have one of the little scoops too as well, but you know, wet your hands, use a little bit of water because that moistens them up a little bit. I'm going to get my dairy-free chips. I'm going to add that in there. Okay, so I'm gonna just get my hands in there and I'm going to make a little ball. As you can see, this is what they look like. So they're really, really yummy. And I'm gonna go ahead and put these on my cookie sheet. I'm gonna put them in the freezer. And you know, you can leave them in the freezer for really a few months if you keep them in the freezer. So you just work them like that. You can use the scooper, but these aren't real sticky. So some of them are really gooey and sticky and your hands get really, really messy. You can wear gloves if you want, but I like to do it myself. But put them in the freezer, and you know, these would be great to put in tins. I will say that then mint, you probably want to keep it in a tin by itself or in a plastic bag by itself, because it tends to take on, if you got other balls in there, you'll get more of that peppermint flavor because it's got a little bit more of a stronger, I don't want to say odor, but a stronger flavor in it. So I am going to turn it over to Julie, and she's going to share a video.
I'm not going to share the video right now. I'm going to wait until the end of mine so that I can take my gloves off. So,
sorry about that.
I'm Julie Powers, and I'm going to be wearing gloves today because I have a Band-Aid on my thumb, and I'm going to be sharing what I make today with some friends, and so I don't want to have Band-Aid goo on my on my creations. So today is December 5th. And I just want to let everybody know that today is the St. Jude Memphis Marathon. And I don't know if you're familiar with St. Jude Children's Hospital, but the Juice Plus Company is the title sponsor of the race. And we have been for, this is the 18th year. And I'm pretty proud of that because our company is not just about inspiring healthy living around the world. We're also about inspiring healthy giving. And we really do a lot to help a lot of different organizations. So I'm going to be making 2 different recipes, and then I'm going to throw it back over to Cindy and Dawn. But the first one that I'm going to be making is called Oh So Nice Spicy Chocolate Bites. Now, I don't know, like when I first saw the movie Chocolat with Johnny Depp, and that was the first time I ever heard of anybody putting cayenne pepper into chocolate. This was a long time ago, right? And I thought that sounds disgusting, but you know what? It really is delicious, and I have been hooked on it ever since I saw that movie back whenever that came out. So this has cayenne pepper in it, and so this one, let me move my gloves out of the way. This one uses the medjool dates, and I love these, the ones that are really big. But if you don't have access to those, and they can be a lot more expensive depending on if you get them on sale, you can just get the bags of pitted dates. They're usually much smaller. So this takes 2 cups for this recipe. And you have to use your food processor. And whenever you do that, you're going to end up with this ball of smushed up dates. Okay, it will literally start out with all the dates in it, and as it's going, it will just crumble up into a ball inside your food processor, and that way you know that they're ready to go. So the dry ingredients for this are cinnamon, which I love, pretty much put cinnamon in everything, cayenne pepper, so it's a teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and then the chocolate complete. Now you saw that Dawn had a big bag of her vanilla complete when she was talking about it, and Cindy had this little package. It's because it comes in both ways. You can get the bulk bags or you can get the single serve packets, which are really nice for traveling, or if you have a bunch of family members that are going to be making stuff at different times and you just want to throw the packets at them. But they're really handy to have like in your purse or something. And then this one also has a 1/2 cup of cashews. And Dawn showed you the cashew bag, so the raw whole cashews. But this one uses the processed ones. So I had to put it into the food processor to get them a little bit more as a powder. But you have to be careful when you're doing that with nuts because you don't want to end up making cashew butter out of it. You do want them to have some texture to it still. And then 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, which Dawn also showed earlier, I think. No, maybe not. She didn't show chia seeds. And then the mini dark chocolate chips. I didn't really have the mini ones. I had just the regular size chocolate chips. These are, just so you know, there's a lot of different companies now that are making gluten-free, dairy-free, allergen-free stuff, right? So Nestle now has, this one is 3 ingredients, and it's just chocolate and cane sugar, organic cane sugar, and organic cocoa butter. So there's only 3 ingredients in these chips. And so that is 1/4 cup of the mini dark chocolate chips or whatever ones, or you can use the cacao nibs. I like the chocolate chips for this recipe better. And then 2 tablespoons of the raw liquid honey. So, you know, if you get raw honey, sometimes it comes and it's a solid, but you want to have the liquidy one. And so that's going into my ingredients here. And honey is just, I just find it to be delicious. This is one of the reasons why I call myself Vegan 95, because as with Lauren, she was a full vegan for a couple of years. I was too, but I really called myself Vegan 95 because I ate honey. And real vegans don't use honey because they're from animals. What? I just find that really weird. So anyway, and then you have the dates, right? So this one, you're gonna wanna just get in there with your hands. Whoa, if I don't break something. And you're gonna just mush it around and really get it mixed up. And it's gonna be kind of like Cindy was saying, hers are more condensed, compact. These are also very dense and compact. And you can see that it can be quite fun to mess around with this recipe. So I'm gonna just go ahead and move on to the next one, and I'm gonna mix my stuff up. And so I think that I'm gonna do mixing and rolling while Cindy and Dawn are talking. And so maybe one of you guys can just at the end come back to me, and I will show what these look like at the end. So my second recipe, oh, but with that one, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put them into a bag, a Ziploc bag, with cocoa powder and the raw cacao powder in a bag, and then you just shake the bag up, and it has that nice coating on it, which is really nice. It adds just a little bit more chocolate to it, and it also helps keep it from sticking together. Here's a tip.
Julie, I have a question. I
Yeah.
may have missed it. When do you put the cayenne pepper in?
It's in there. Like
It's in that.
In the cayenne pepper, the
Okay.
chia seeds, all the dry ingredients. You go in first, mix it up with the cashews, and then throw in that wet stuff towards the end so that it mixes up really well. So here's a tip. Whenever you're making balls, it's easy if you use like a cookie sheet, right? And you're making the balls, and you put them all on the cookie sheet, and and then you put them in the freezer to get them nice and cold before you transfer them to your new bowl, Ziploc bag, whatever kind of packaging you're gonna put them in, right? Make sure that they are very secure in your freezer. I made balls last Sunday all day long, and I had some amazing ones in my freezer, and I went to pull them out, and when I opened the freezer door, the cookie sheet fell on the floor, and all the balls went flying across my kitchen floor except for 10, and I was so sad. So make sure that you're not like me, and you make good decisions on where to put it in your freezer. The next one is called Chocolate Chia Berry Bites. This one uses 1 cup of oats, which I also use the Trader Joe oats. You can use any oats that you want, but these are gluten-free because they're not made in a manufacturing plant that also has gluten products in it. So if you're really watching that kind of thing, just read the labels on your packaging. This has 1/3 cup of chia seeds again. So these are really nutritious treats. The chia seeds are amazing by themselves, but then when you add the Juice Plus Complete powder that has all the other protein and fiber and really good stuff for you, then you know these are really packed with nutrition. You're not just making a cookie. And I made some ginger snaps for my husband, and you know what they make? They made with Crisco, white sugar. I mean, just nastiness, right? There is no nutritional value to that whatsoever. So this is really good nutrition. This also has unsweetened coconut flakes. So a lot of the places have sweetened coconut flakes in the stores. So you might have to search to find the unsweetened ones. But again, read the labels, make sure you know what you're getting. Also, so it's a third cup of the unsweetened coconut, and you're gonna have access to these recipes. Those of you who are watching this video who are not part of the Facebook group and you're like, I didn't see any ingredients, I don't have any way to get the recipes, just ask the person who shared this video with you and they'll be able to track it down for you and get it to you. So I use the low sugar craisins for my cranberries. And this also uses honey, vanilla extract, the chocolate chips again. So I'm using those vegan chocolate chips, cinnamon, and sea salt. And that is really, really a fun part of it because again, I never thought about putting salt in my chocolatey stuff until probably about 15 years ago. And then I started doing that. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. The peanut butter, same thing as Cindy, that really read the labels of what you're getting so that you know you're getting all natural peanut butter and you're not getting one with the extra sugar in it or any kind of extra oils. Sometimes they put even chemicals into peanut butter. So you want to just either get just peanuts or the ones that are peanuts and salt. So that's really important. And then I just want to share with you a quick story while I'm putting this in here. This is the honey and the vanilla. Everything's kind of pre-measured because we don't want to waste your time watching me measure stuff out. I was also a big sweet tooth person, still am. Like Dawn was saying that she had a bad sweet tooth. I was an extreme junk food junkie. I was the person who would eat not only just a whole Little Caesars large pepperoni pizza by myself, but then I would get my container of Duncan Hines or Betty Crocker frosting and eat it with a spoon. And that's just not good for you. I also had, we have 2 refrigerators in our house, and the second refrigerator, all of the produce drawers were full of candy bars, like York peppermint patties. So I'm afraid to eat Cindy's Thin Mint cookies or balls because I'm afraid it'll be a gateway drug to my obsession again. But I used to eat so many York peppermint patties and Snickers and Kit Kats and Butterfingers and Milky Way and Three Musketeers because they're fluffy on the inside. They're not as bad for you, right? Well, they are. So basically, I was introduced to Juice Plus about 14 years ago when my daughter was still with us and she needed 24-hour medical care and I was not taking care of myself. But I realized that I needed to invest in my health so that I could be the best version of myself that I could be, even though I knew I was a junk food junkie. So I added the fruits and the vegetables to my daily diet. And then it was about 7.5 years ago that I decided that I was ready to partner with the company because I realized that I was never going to go a day without my fruit and vegetable blends. And I still wasn't eating right, but I was a little better. And then I really jumped into that program that Dawn explained, that shred program, where I decided that I was going to go for 6 weeks without any junk. I was just going to eat the good stuff, everything real food, real plants. And I was going to just cut out all the other stuff, the gluten, the alcohol, the sugar, the everything. And I thought I would just go back to the way I was after that 6 weeks, but I wanted to say I did it. Well, now it's 7.5 years later, and I'm still living that lifestyle most days. Sometimes I eat way too much of something, but I'm still very much about trying to make the best decisions I can for my body. And so I think it's really important to just take that one step. And sometimes it's easier to add things. So I added the berry blend. I added the complete. I added the omegas, which are amazing omegas. And so all of those things are really, really important for just giving your body what it needs. And especially now when we are just bombarded with stuff, not just viruses and bacteria and things like that, but I mean, environmental toxins and relationship toxicity. I mean, we have a lot of stress in our lives right now, so we have to take care of ourselves. And it's really, really important to make those choices because lifestyle choices make a difference in our health. So before I pass it back over to Dawn, and we'll come back to mine, just maybe Dawn, after you're done making your recipe, you can just pop back in and I can show what mine look like. But I am gonna just share my screen and I'm gonna show a video so that you have a little bit more education about the complete product that we're using and why we use that. You can make these recipes with any protein powder you want. We cannot say that they're gonna be that good because we know these are really good and we know what's in them. And so I'm gonna just stop my video for a second on my face so that it streams a little bit better. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna show you this video.
Hello there, my name is Dr. Jan Roberto. I'm a family physician in Springfield, Ohio, and I've been practicing for over 25 years. I love Juice Plus. I've been eating it for 10 years. I heard about it from another physician. It made sense to me because I did not eat enough fruits and vegetables. Juice Plus is smart and easy, and it's a great solution. And I have peace of mind because the research shows that it works. So, you know, we do need a variety of fruits and vegetables, and this is just the next best thing, evidence-based and clinically proven to fill in the gap. Another way to be nutritionally fit is to have good macronutrition of those protein, carbohydrates, and fat that give your body calories or food for fuel. Juice Plus also has a whole food beverage that is plant-based and protein-rich. Juice Plus Complete. It is gluten-free, low-fat, no cholesterol, artificial flavorings, coloring, or preservatives, no wheat, dairy, or eggs, no caffeine, herbs, and it is kosher certified. 130 calories, a half a gram of fat, 8 grams of fiber. 6 of those are soluble fiber, 2 insoluble, and 13 grams of protein. Sometimes people that are used to whey protein will look at that protein and wonder why it's only 13 and they're used to maybe 20. Well, that is because whey protein is highly processed and it comes from milk. And so it is not as clean as the protein in this product. Here's Raymond. He is the soybean farmer who's responsible for our amazing soy protein. He is dedicated to rotating crops, non-GMO. It's a water washed process that retains so much more nutrition. And the plant-based soy isoflavones help the cardiovascular system, inflammation, the immune system, helps with cholesterol. And so know that this is just a wonderful way to stay healthy. And since 2009, there have been several studies that show that there is extreme safety with eating soy, including JAMA, who said those with breast cancer had a decreased risk of death and reoccurrence. And a new piece from Nutrition Review that soy can possibly slow down cancer progression. We know that there is a lot of research done on the Japanese, and they have a diet of 30 to 35 grams per day of soy, and our soy is 11 grams. And so what a wonderful way to be secure, knowing that this is safe and healthy way to get your protein. Now let's look at the sweetener blend. 2 kinds of sweeteners that are actually healthy, organic cane sugar and stevia. Again, a high nutrition content, and it's not been sprayed or bleached. Also the fiber blend. When we think of fiber, there's the insoluble fiber that helps with colon health. So 2 grams are insoluble. The other 6 grams are the type of fiber that gets absorbed and helps stabilize blood sugar, slows the breakdown and release of sugar into the blood. And those are the sources there: the gum fiber, the fructooligosaccharides, which is a prebiotic that helps aid in the population of good bacteria in the colon, a natural plant cellulose, rice bran, soy fiber, pectin, apple fiber. So that's just so great to have that kind of healthy fiber in the complete. And then 4 sources of powder blend: pumpkin powder, which is high in beta carotene; pomegranate, which is great for heart health; spirulina, which is a super green from the blue-green algae grown in the Kona regions of Hawaii. It's actually from the oldest continuously cultivated and harvested spirulina in the world. And yucca, which is a root vegetable, helps with inflammation. And finally, 6 sources of ancient blend grains: the sprouts, which include broccoli, alfalfa, and radish. These are micronutrients, concentrated phytonutrients that help protect against disease and protect your DNA. And the ancient grains: amaranth, which is a balanced protein, carb, and fat, which is a great energy food; organic quinoa, which is rich in amino acids and is a relative of the leafy spinach and Swiss chard; and organic millet, which is great for heart health. MD Anderson published a study in GYN Oncology using the Orchard Garden micronutrition as well as the Juice Plus Complete. And they took ovarian cancer survivors that already had been studied using 10 servings of fruits and vegetables. Took them a lot of motivation to do this on a daily basis. They then took another group that was eating just 5 servings a day and added Juice Plus Complete and the Juice Plus micronutrients of the Orchard and Garden. And what they found was indeed that the 5 a day with the Juice Plus products were equivalent to the 10 a day of fruits and vegetables. This to me explains clearly how Juice Plus bridges the gap. We have the micronutrition of the Orchard Garden Vineyard that helps build, repair, and protect on a cellular level. And the macronutrition of the Juice Plus Complete beverage, giving you that balanced protein, carbohydrate, and fat, which gives your body some calories and food for fuel.
All right, so that is the video. So Dawn, take it away.
Actually, we go back to Cindy first.
Oh, sorry, Cindy. Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay, so I'm going to make my second recipe. I'm going to share a little bit more about my story. So like I said, my son was born with cystic fibrosis, and I was a very picky eater. And while my diet isn't perfect every day, it sure is a lot better. And Juice Plus just made sense to us because we weren't eating any fruits and vegetables. And now it does change your taste. You do crave more fruits and veggies. You know, I eat lots of salads and lots of greens. I wouldn't even eat a green thing before. So this next recipe I'm going to share is really one of my very favorites. I call it blueberry bites. And I get these dried blueberries. I get these at Aldi's, a package of this. You can use freeze-dried, but if you use freeze-dried, you're gonna have to put more coconut oil, or you're gonna have to put more dates in it to give it that texture, because it's gonna be too dry. So I am doubling my recipe, so I use 2 of these packages. The recipe calls for 3/4 cup, and or just really quickly, just 2 of these packages if you want to double up, or 1 package. And I put it in my food processor already, and kind of like the dates, like Julie was saying, it's this great big ball of stuff. So I'm going to dump that in my bowl. I already have 2 tablespoons full of coconut oil in there. And then I did about 12, because I'm doubling it, dates. I did ground them up in the food processor. So I got this great big ball of stuff. And then I'm going to put in Juice Plus Complete. We're going to have 2. Hands are kind of sticky. We're going to have 2 packages. And we don't have any honey in this one. No agave, no honey, because the dates are going to be our sweetener for this one. And this is, like I said, this is probably my favorite recipe. I used to like the crispy chocolate ones, but this is so good. And I used the raw cashews. So I'm doubling up. I got 2 cups in here. I'm going to dump that in there. And again, I'm using a full cup because I'm doubling the recipe of my rolled oats, but I will ground them up. And so I'm going to just kind of work this in. This is going to gotta work it in. It's going to take a little bit to get this ready for the balls, but I'm going to share a little bit about why I joined the mission of the company while I'm doing that. And my last recipe, oh, I forgot. I have to do 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Sometimes I actually forget this in the recipe by accident, and it still tastes okay. But I think it gives it a little bit more of a liquid. One thing that we will do when we're done, at the end, we will roll this in coconut, the unsweetened coconut, like I think Julie or Dawn said. I can't remember which one had it. And you can get this one, that particular brand I got at Trader Joe's, but you can certainly buy this at Walmart. But I like to put it in the food processor as well, because sometimes the coconut flakes are a little bit big and they don't stay on the balls very well. So if you grind them up really fine and more of a powder, they tend to stay a little more. So just going to share a little bit about why I joined the company. So like I said, I was single at the time, and you know, I really did want to get Juice Plus for the best price. And so that's why I started. I didn't do a whole lot with my business for the first 4 years. And then I attended a big event, a conference, a live conference, and I really got a vision for the company and the people involved in the company. And I jumped in with both feet and started building a team, and I've never looked back. It's really been a wonderful way for me. You know, I'm married now. My husband does well, but it's really nice that I have the option of having my own sense of income and independence. And you know, my husband's a banker, so quite honestly, you know, he likes to manage people's money, especially ours. So this is really good for me to be able to have kind of my own sense of my mad money. And actually I've made this a career. This is a full-time income, working part-time, because over the course of many years, I've developed team, and I get to love on people and share and call myself a friend collector. You know, I get paid to call people and to be a good friend and to check on people, you know, whereas I don't have a job that I'm stuck in my office and I don't have time. And when I think about people, I pick up the phone or shoot them a quick text. So I love what I do, and I'm going to make a couple of these balls. I'm going to show you what they look like. And then while Dawn is finishing her last one, I'm going to finish up on them. Okay, so here they are. And then you take it and you just kind of roll it in the coconut like this. And I'm gonna put it on a cookie sheet. I'm gonna roll these up while Dawn is finishing up, and then I'll show you at the end what they look like. So Dawn, you wanna take it away?
Okay, my last one is a salted caramel protein truffle. And this is really only the second time I made it. I made it about a month ago, and they were so good that I decided I wanted to include those today. So they use 20 of the dates, and I just want to show you, because when you get these dates, nobody's really showed you. You have to just cut them in half and get out the little pit, but it's really easy to do. So 20 of those, and then it says in the recipe to put them in a bowl of warm water to soften. Sometimes when I get a container, and I get my dates at Aldi now because they have them in the produce department. If you live close to a world market, you can get dates like this really inexpensive at a Mediterranean section or, you know, Turkish section. They have really good dates. But sometimes you'll get dates and they're really dry and not so gooey, and that's why it says to put them in some warm water to soften them up. Sometimes I'll get a thing of dates and they'll be really sticky. So I don't think you would need to add the water if that was the case. But I did when I made mine, added the water. And then it calls for three cups 3/4 cup of peanuts. I just used the unsalted, dry roasted. You could use raw. And then 1/4 of a cup of pecans is what the recipe calls for. But Julie is allergic to some nuts. And so when I made mine, I substituted out, I used the raw cashews again. You could use walnuts. I think you could probably use the whole cup of peanuts and not sub in the other nuts, but that's up to you. I think they'll turn out just the same. And then I use the 2 tablespoons of gluten-free oats. These are a little bit sticky too. I think you could add probably a couple more tablespoons if you wanted them less gooey and sticky. It has that truffle gooiness to them on the inside. So if you want them a little bit drier, add a little bit more. And then a scoop or packet of the Vanilla Complete. Pure vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon. Make sure it's not the imitation stuff. Get the real stuff. 3/4 teaspoon of pink Himalaya salt. You could use sea salt. Make sure you get sea salt or Himalayan salt. It really does make a difference, and it's so much more healthier with the minerals that are in those than just an iodized table salt that I always grew up using, and now I don't anymore. And then the 3/4 cup dark chocolate chips. I have used the brand that Julie mentioned, but I usually get this Enjoy Life brand. And what you do is, after the dates are softened, you're going to put the nuts and the oats and the Complete in your food processor and blend it until it's really crumbly. And then you're going to add the dates and the vanilla and the salt, and you're going to make it real smooth. You don't want the nuts showing. You want it really smooth. And then I use my trusty scooper, since they are really sticky, not my hands, and I just scoop out one per thing. And then the recipe originally called for, you set those up in the refrigerator, and then you melt the chocolate and dip it like halfway, half of the ball in the chocolate, or you could dip it the whole way. And I thought, oh, that's so labor intensive. I just drizzled the chocolate on top. But I will have to say, the last time I made them, I dipped them, and they did look more like a truffle, and they had a little bit more chocolate taste. So if you have the time, I go ahead and dip each one. Take a little toothpick and put it in the center and dip it in, and then put it on some paper on a sheet and put it in the refrigerator and harden that up. So that's my other one, and it is really yummy. It tastes sort of like a salted caramel chocolate thing, really good. Before I turn it back over, I just want to thank everybody, and I'll be putting the recipes and, if technology works, the tape Zoom on the event page, and you can check back and look at it. And that will all be accessible for 2 weeks. And you can post questions. Please post questions in that group, so somebody may have the same question as you, so don't feel embarrassed. Or you can reach out to the person who invited you and ask them a question. I want to point out, we do things like this periodically, and so on Tuesday, December the 8th, Julie and Cindy will be hosting a Zoom call to talk about one simple change, and that's at noon and 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you'd like the login for that, let someone know and we can get that to you. So I'm going to go back, before I finish it completely, I'm going to go back to Julie, and we'll see her balls, and we'll.
I'm just going to show you real quickly. I'm starting the rolling process. So the Choco Chia berry, that's what that looks like. It is a little bit kind of wet on the outside, so you could even roll that in cocoa powder. You could roll it in some crushed up, like, organic brown rice crisps or Rice Krispies, basically, but the organic ones are obviously much better for you. And you could give it a crunchy texture. The other ones that I put in the Ziploc bag with the cocoa powder, you can see they've got that cocoa powder coating on them, and they just are really, really delicious. These are 2 recipes that I just started making a couple weeks ago. I have always stuck with the ones that I've used for the last, I don't know how many years, because they're my go-tos, but I love these so much that I have a feeling I'm going to be making these forever. And like everybody has said, you can keep them in your freezer, or you can keep them in your refrigerator for like a week or something in an airtight container. And I am going to zap it back over to whoever needs to talk at this point.
Okay, I'm going to show you mine. I'm bagging up some of mine. Again, this is the Thin Mint, so I'm going to put it in a bag for Julie and Dawn because they do, that peppermint smell is quite smelly. Good smell, but it can overpower the other ones. I've just started rolling out my blueberry bites, and so, you know, they have the coconut on them, so that's what they look like. And, you know, it'd be really great, guys, if you do make these recipes, please post them in the event and let us know, because we would love to see them. We want to hear what you liked, you know, if you didn't like one or if you changed something. And again, if you get in there and it's a little bit too dry, you know, add a little bit of whatever, peanut butter or coconut, just to kind of make it, you know, make it that right consistency, because every products are a little bit different. Every peanut butter is a little different. Every blueberry, you know, like you get a different one, the freeze dried, they're going to be a little bit different. So just kind of play with it. And we would love to hear back from you on what you think. So I want to thank you guys. Anybody else? Julie, Dawn, you want to add anything?
I'm just going to finish up. First of all, if, you know, Cindy mentioned, we're going to all share, Julie, Cindy, and I, you know, these balls, depending on whether you double the recipes or not, my recipes make, you know, the truffle one makes like 36 balls and the other one makes like 18. So we're all making all these and sharing it with each other. So it might be something you want to do with your friends is, oh, I'll make 2 different ones and you make 2 different ones and somebody else, and we'll all swap them. So from now on, you have a couple of options today. You could, option number 1, do nothing and not even make the recipes, and that's okay. We're not going to judge you. Option 2, you could make some of the recipes we share and let us know and share them with us and let everybody see how they turned out. Option 3, you can reach out to the person who invited you and ask about some of the Juice Plus products that we mentioned today and see how those would fit into your family's life. And you might want to order some complete. Obviously, if you don't have complete, these recipes might be a little hard, but we mentioned you could use some other types of protein mix. We don't know exactly how those would turn out. So, you know, give it a go if that's the only thing you have. But if you get that ordered, you can, it would arrive this week and you could make them right away. And option 4 would be to partner with us and help other people be inspired and to get healthy around the world. We do that, our companies worldwide, and educate people about whole food nutrition. So we thank you for joining, and you have a rest of the lovely Saturday to do what you want to do and maybe make some balls. So thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Anybody have
Thanks,
questions?
everyone.